Hey, everybody! Today we're gonna remix the song Houdini from Dua Lipa, and we're gonna do it in a 70s to 80s style. As the main synthesizer will be used in Synthesizer Maestro. As a drum machine, Addictive Drums 2 and bass will be synthesized with Serum plugin. As for plugins for processing, we use from standard tools Ableton, Arpeggiator and Utility, we use FabFilter Pro Q3, Valhalla Vintage Verb, Kramit, Decapitator, Shaper Box for sidechain, and Effect Rack for spatial processing. We've already got an acapella ready to go. Let's hear it.
I come and I go. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for long. Catch me or I go Houdini.
And the verse.
Everything you say is sounding so sweet.
To extract vocals from the track, I recommend using Phonic Mind Service. Initially the track sounds quite fast, but since we're going to do a remix in the genre of synthwave, retrowave, I suggest we lower the BPM from 117, like 100. I think it will be more emotional.
I come and I go. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for long.
We'll have more space for improvisation. In today's remix we're going to use mostly the Maestro library, so I suggest you open up Kontakt, select that library and start writing chords for the chorus. Initially, let's pick a random sound of some sort, such as a piano. Piano is usually the easiest sound to write chords on. Select with the left mouse button the area where we are going to write chords and press the Ctrl-Shift-M key combination to open up our piano roll, where we can already write the notes. I picked the chords beforehand and the first chord in the chorus is R minor. The next chord is G minor, but the top note of the R in the original has been moved an octave down. The next chord is C major, only it's used originally in a slightly unusual shape. We reduce the normal C major a little bit, we lower the second step by 2 semitones, you get this slightly unstable sound, which we resolve into a regular C major. We've got this harmony that we can work through the whole chorus by pressing Ctrl D. I suggest you edit our sound a little bit in the Maestro synthesizer by adding a little bit of chorus, some vibrato. I'd also like to add the FabFilter Pro Q3. It's an equalizer that you want to a little bit of a treble boost to make it a little bit brighter. But not so much, just a little bit. And cut the lows that we don't have here. So, what I'm suggesting is that we take our chord progression and move it to the beginning of the track so we can write the intro and some kind of a playback. We've got the chords and on top of that we should write some kind of atmospheric melody to make it more interesting. For the melody we'll also using the Maestro library. Let's open it up and pick some bright, atmospheric sound. I like the trombone, for example. I think it sounds quite bright, and if we process it now, add some chorus, make it a little bit brighter with resonance, and some third-party plugins for ambience. Let's use the Effect Rack plugin first, which is a plugin from Soundtoys. I really like to use it for genres like synthwave, retrowave, and in stuff like Tiesto 70s style, because it adds a lot of atmosphere. By mixing in different effects like delay, reverberation, or chorus. I like the large lash verb preset, it's reverberation and delay at the same time. Let's now use this processed instrument to record some kind of improvising on the MIDI keyboard. Because of the slight delay, it might not hit everything exactly right, so we're gonna manually tweak it a little bit. There's basically 4 notes used, C, R, F, and G, with each other in rhythmic succession. So, I'm going to suggest that we take the main melody a little bit to the right, and on the left-hand track, in the left ear, we'll add an arpeggio, an essential part of any synthwave track. And so we're going to add the maestro instrument. Here we're going to go for something a little bit tighter. I think the up bass preset would be perfect for us. But we're going to make the release smaller because you want to hear short notes in the arpeggios. So we're going to copy the chords from our piano and put the Arpeggiator plugin that's available in any Ableton Live. And now we can pick up the note sweep speed here, for example, January 16th. That's going to be pretty fast, but that's the way it's often used in genres like this. We can also pick up some specific sequencing. It's going to be up and down these notes, or it's going to be bottom up. On the arpeggio, I also suggest adding a decapitator. This is an overdrive and a mid-range saturator. The arpeggio will sound much tighter. Here I adjust the mix and drive knobs in order to balance the strength of the effect on the instrument. Just like for the melody, I suggest that you pick a set of spatial effects to make the arpeggio sound more atmospheric. And then removing the chords played by the piano from the insertion. And let's start with just the melody and arpeggios. The next step in writing our remix is to add bass. Let's take any kind of bass. I, for example, will take a Poly 6 synthesizer and write notes for our chords. In order to figure out what notes we need to use, we need to go into the R sequence and see what note the chords are built from. We need to remember that we transpose the second chord and the top note is the bottom note. So the root note in this chord is G. And the last chord is C and diminished in normal. So, let's write down the notes. Using the combination of the keys Ctrl D to arrange these notes one after the other. Now that we've got the notes arranged, replace our demo bass with some of the more interesting sounds from the Serum presets. The package is called Source Sound Retrowave and there are some good presets here, designed specifically for retrowave tracks. I like this one. Let's also add a shaper box with a Sidecahen effect to create the groove. Choose 1/4, mix a little smaller and now we're rocking. Now we just need to add a drum section. As a drum machine I will use the most suitable addictive drums too and its set of presets Real Machines. Here we also select the area where we are going to write, press Ctrl-Shift-M. And I will start with the beat. Any drum machine like this has volumes like this. Typically, the intro of the playback in tracks from the 70s and 80s is accompanied by these kind of beats. Let's write something similar. Usually these toms are played on the low end, to create that little boost. We'll do a little bit of a breakdown, and then we'll do a direct barrel roll to our sidechain and the whole track. For more rocking, of course, we'll add a little bit of hi-hat and crash. Various open hats can also be added. And we'll duplicate this rhythmic pattern throughout the whole track, by selecting the elements we want and pressing Ctrl D. Let's hear how it will sound in the chorus. There is a feeling that the melody in the playback doesn't play as tightly as we would like, so I suggest duplicating it again and add another Maestro synthesizer, but with a different sound and process it in some other way, to make the melody wider and bigger and more powerful. We'll probably go for up bass, because that's a pretty dense sound. We'll add more chorus and then we'll put it right next to the main melody. And move it a little bit to the left ear to create more breadth. Add the Valhalla Vintage Verb plugin to make a big wide atmospheric space. And together we now have a sound like this. Yeah, the intro has gotten a lot fatter, more varied. And the chorus. In the chorus, as a variety, I suggest putting some extra shakers or heats to increase the dynamics. After the chorus we'll repeat the playback, and then we'll go to writing the second verse and make it a little bit different. From the second verse we'll remove all the extra stuff and create a new track and make a different bass in it. Not so pulsating as in the whole track, but more floating and calm. To do this, let's open Serum. Here it's quite simple. Choose a wave, any wave you want, just an ordinary sharp wave. That's how it's going to sound, quite sharp. Let's add a filter, i.e. a cut of high frequencies, in order to make it sound softer. And we'll also add voices. Now we've got a pretty big, yet powerful sound. You can add a little bit of distortion and compression to make it readable in the mix, but here the main thing is not to overdo it, because we want to make the second verse a little bit lighter than the whole track in order to relieve the listener. So we put all the same notes that we had before with the bass. Only now they are longer and more calm, giving a break from the rocking that we felt before. In the second part of the verse, you can add some hats and take the breakdown from the beginning of the track and put it before the second verse. I suggest to compress the vocal additionally to make it more readable. And add some width to it with the help of the standard utility plugin, which you can use for this function. And make it a bit quieter so that it fits better into the mix. We can also add some delay and reverb effect to it for atmosphere, because vocals are always recessed in such genres in the farthest possible space. There is also a little problem in the second verse. These backing vocals that Dua Lipa sings, they are too much out of the overall picture. That's why I suggest creating a separate track for them, processing it in the same way as the main track, but adding more reverb, echo and making it a bit quieter. And then these backs will fit into the track much better. So, after some minor adjustments on the master and more meticulous mixing, we got this remix.